Welcome y'all. So off the wrap, I've got to say I was low-key excited as just making this video for today on season 2 of this beautiful anime, the Apothecary Diaries. And with the recent update that season 3 is being greenlit, I'm just even more inclined to speak on this anime and the things I love from it, especially Mao Mao and Jinichi. That all said, we can now move on to my usual episode 1 yap. Alright, so immediately LLM and Toho Studios flex off their beautiful animation of the setting and the characters we're grown to know well in season 1, but we see each of the concubines through Jinichi's walk around the weird palace until we meet up with our main star, Mao Mao, and that's not to like say Jinichi ain't a star or two, but like I just relate to Mao a lot more, you know? But moving back on to Mao Mao, who's working on like a really strong perfume, which is like, you know, actually sticks in, like has a full storyline as we move on through the episodes. But for now, we just learn that the perfumes in certain mixes may have like effects that lead to birth defects and stuff like that. And we have two ladies in waiting, being Gyoko and Liyue. Like we don't want that around them. But you know, moving on, and on top of the perfume stuff, Mao Mao had also like been planning on getting new books for everyone, but these specific books were for the concubine, like, and the ladies in waiting, and they're if you get the reference, you get it. But the make-out tactic books from Naruto that Kakashi would always hold around, so peak reference right there. But yeah, Mao plans on giving these out to both help and influence reading and writing amongst the lower classes, and even, like I said, the ladies in waiting, which is, you know, cool to see in a way, because we're like seeing an older era like start to embrace literature, which only leads to like good things, you know. But Jinichi was also quick to create more books in a short amount of time, which also helped things even more. Loki, another cool piece that I like is how like Mao teaches Xiaolan a little too, and like it's always just like sweet seeing them for like their brief moments, because it reminds me a lot of Mako and Ryuko from Kill la Kill. And if you just see how they act all the time, if you go ahead and watch the anime, and it's such a constant reminder to them. And I love Kill la Kill, so that's why I love these little small moments, even though they don't bring much to the story. And the last but definitely my favorite piece of this episode is the cat that they discover the next day while out walking with Lady Gyoko's daughter.
Wow.
And on God, the kitten is so cute, bro. And they even name it after Mao, which is like hilarious. And they get it up to maintenance so that they can keep the cat for the daughter. And even the Emperor allows it happily, which is like kind of goofy on his part. But I also want to speak on him because this season he low-key has a lot more personality, and he actually like shows up a little bit more. He's part of the story, and I'll be speaking on him later on in an episode. But yeah, these are both like two of my favorite parts, honestly. But that's the yap on episode 1. But let's go on to some more specific moments I loved or, you know, just found beautiful over the rest of season 2. Yeah. Alright, so as mentioned already with Xiaolan, I just always appreciate the moments shown between her and Mao, but I'd also like to add Shishui to the mix, forming a trio of great chemistry. The way I like see their relationships to Mao are like also something I find warming, because Zhao is like a little sis for Mao, which brings out the more lighthearted and generous side of herself than her normal like suppressed and sassed and cat-like persona. And you can see why I compare him to like Mako and Ryoku now, with how Mako's playful chaos brought out Ryoku's like, you know, happier side as well, because she was more of a junkyard dog. But I'm yapping, and let me get on to Shishui now, who's also like someone who compels emotion from Mao early on, with how she's both a really nice artist and knowledgeable in some plants and mostly insects, which, you know, kind of relates to Mao a lot. But I'm also thinking she may or may not have like a crush on Mao, but that's just speculation, some Himadashi vibes I'm getting from some of the scenes. But yapping I mainly just wanted to highlight something niche but also beautiful in a sense, with some of the smaller but still important relationships Mao has created. Another moment I love was the Moon Fairy episode, and the main subject for this will be Jinichi. So there's like two women who came to the Moon Festival higher ranked, and like they're just beautiful women whom rival even the highly ranked concubines we see in the Jade Rear Palace. But one of them is kind of cocky and annoying to me, like low-key. So when Mao and Jinichi performed in front of them to like simulate the moon fairy dance. It just shook her, and she later was like just seemed to be jealous of Jinshi, which I loved because like I hated her ass, lol. But the dance atmosphere and the clothing choice for Mao and Jinshi was just beautiful in my opinion. Alright, now my final piece, the waterfall incident, where like Jinshi saves Mao, but in the process they get stuck. But for Jinshi, this is like the perfect moment for him to finally tell her his secret, which is that he hasn't been clipped. There are more like secrets that he wished to tell Mao, but she low-key made a lot of excuses and teased him on the matter, which is cute. But like Jinshi really wants to confide in her, and no one else knows the secret except the Emperor. So I understand him wanting to share that with anyone he trusts and well loves. But ooh, they did almost have their first kiss before being saved, so I feel like this was the first time Mao was gonna embrace him. But I tell myself there's gonna be more chances down the line for that. But all in all though, I just find the slower and steady pacing the story goes with those two like just lovely, and this is one of many beautiful scenes that I hope we'll all get to see in season 3. But last yap, with it being like I love their dynamic as well so much, and I'm gonna need to watch another romance now just to decompress. So to wrap the yap up, I want to just say one more thing. The 4th intro is like now my favorite. The music's a vibe, the perspectives of the other looking upon Mao and how serious she always looks, and just in general the visuals are just on peak. But that's all for now. And I just want to say one more thing. I worked on a few new things that I really hope y'all like, and just let me know what you think of the new intro also. It might be a little long, but just leave it in the comments and leave a like as well if y'all do enjoy it. But with that, stay tuned for more, and I'll see ya.